Okay, so now that we have established what the MNIST dataset actually is, and now we are proceeding on towards the task of building an MNIST dataset classifier.
This video is brought to you by OppiPies Academy.
Okay, so to do that, we are going to do that completely on the Google Cloud platform. So the very first step is to create a project. Okay, so over here, whenever you sign up for Google Cloud Console or Google Cloud platform, you will essentially have your very first project already created for you. Okay, which is the my first project. So if you don't have any project over here, then create a new project by clicking this button. But over here, if you have a project, make sure that it is selected by looking that you have a blue tick over here. So once you have it, now we want to create a compute engine. Okay, so this is a place where we'll be creating a new virtual machine, and once we create a new virtual machine, we will essentially write in all of the code and execute it and look if everything is running properly, and once it is, then we'll go ahead from that step. Okay, so for now, a virtual machine is essentially an instance of a particular operating system running onto a particular hardware. Okay, so in case of Google Cloud Platform, we can choose the hardware and also the software or the operating system which we will be using on top of it. So now whenever you are running compute engine for the very first time, it may take some time for the compute engine to set up, and once everything is set up, this blue button over here will be enabled, and once we have it enabled, we'll uh, click on create a new virtual machine instance. Okay, so now we have to give a name over here. So let's type in my first instance. Okay, so now you have to choose a region for your particular instance, and this is the physical location where the server will be located. So now a clear understanding of the location of the server is very important, because whenever you are looking at the location of a server, the data actually has to travel from that particular server to the location where you are using it. So now, like my case, if most of your audience of the particular project will be in India, then choosing a server which will be in the United States is not the most efficient approach. But currently, we will not have a lot of visitors looking at our particular instance. But whenever you are deploying an app, then always consider from where your audience will be in the maximum numbers, and then keep the server or the instance closest to that particular location. Okay, so after the zone, then the cost of the zone also varies depending on which server are you choosing. Okay, so over here, now as we have selected a particular server, okay, so now we have to choose the machine type. So let's click on customize, and over here we can define the number of cores we want for our particular CPU. So it can range from 1 to 8. Okay, so you can also have 0 cores, which is essentially a shared CPU. So it will be shared with someone who is also running a particular shared CPU. So now over here, let's click on shared CPU for now, because currently, although we will be running the training of the entire machine learning application, but still the entire thing will not consume a lot of memory, and we are also not time bound, which means that we won't have to cater a particular request to a particular user, and the time should be minimum. So we don't have a condition like this. So memory 0.6 gigabytes or 1.7. So let's keep whatever the lowest we can, or for here let's keep 1.7, so that we at least have the model running well. Then we have the CPU platform, so this can be automatic. Then we have the number of GPUs. So the GPUs are very important whenever you want to do any sort of simulation or any sort of machine learning rendering. But for now, let's create a simple working prototype or simple working virtual machine based on a CPU. and we'll not be using a GPU. So over here we are coming up to a very important stage where first of all we don't want to deploy a container image. This means that if we have a pre-configured image, then this is the place where we would like to run it on our particular machine. Okay, so over here now we have the boot disk, and this is essentially the operating system which will be present on our particular virtual machine. So now we don't want the Debian GNU Linux version, so let's change this, and you can see that you have a whole different set of images over here. So we have CentOS, then you have Ubuntu, then we have Red Hat, then we have Windows Server, and all of those things. Okay, so over here let's look at the application images. So this is for database, then we have custom images, then we have snapshots, and then we have existing disks. Okay, so over here let's look for an image which actually has TensorFlow installed on it. So to do that, let's scroll down to the end of the list, and over here we can see that we have TensorFlow installed with a lot of different options. So over here we have Debian and GNU/Linux 9 stretch plus TF. Okay, so over here let's choose this one where we have TensorFlow version 1-11 installed. So this really doesn't matter which TensorFlow version are you installing, because we are going to write a pretty basic program which will just use some basic terminologies or some basic API callbacks of TensorFlow framework. But for now let's create a boot disk, and over here you can also choose the size of the disk which you want to create your server on. So you can have the option of a standard disk or an SSD. Okay, so over here let's keep an SSD of 10 gigabytes and let's click select. Okay, and after this we have the firewall which is allow HTTP traffic or HTTPS traffic. Okay, so later on we'll be changing these variables, but for now let's click on allow these traffic, because we'll also be looking at the tensor board which will be using the HTTP or HTTPS callback function to also read write the different types of data which is stored on your particular system, which refers to the training progress of your model. Okay, so over here with all of the current setup which we have done, the main monthly cost of our particular system will be $19.71 per month. Okay, and with the sign up a new creation of a new account on Google Cloud Platform, you get a free trial of about $300. Okay, so with that this is more than enough to run it for a whole lot of time. Okay, so after doing this, now let's click on create. So this will create a compute instance for you, and it may take some time. So over here, once the compute instance is ready, this link will be available over here. So you can click on this particular link. So now let's wait for it to finish the loading part. Okay, so now that we have our instance completely created and the loading now finished, so let's just click on the name of the instance, and over here you can again see the entire details of what our instance actually is. So now let's go back, and over here you can also stop or play the instance again. So over here let's click on connect, and over here we have either two options. So now an instance is actually a command line instance of a particular operating system. In this case it is Debian or GNU or Linux. So over here, in order to connect to that particular command line, we have two options. So we can either open it in a browser on a new window, or we can open it on a command line of our local computer. Okay, so for now let's open it in a browser window. Okay, so let's click on open in browser window. So now it will transfer all of the SSH keys, and SSH is a security protocol which is used to encrypt the transcription of all of the data. Okay, so over here once we have the connection established, you can see a command line over here, and as you can see this is the command line which we have, and now this is running on the Google Cloud Platform. Okay, so let's zoom into this a little bit. Okay, so over here we have my username and followed by my instance name. Okay, so over here if you do ls, and over here currently you don't have any files, but let's create a new file by typing mkdir space hello world. Okay, so with this we'll be creating a folder named hello world. So let's press enter. Okay, and now let's do ls again. Ls basically tells you the contents of all of the contents of the particular directory. Okay, so over here we have hello world. So with this, now it is kind of hard to imagine the entire command line structure when we are so used to the graphical user interface section. But currently it is of no problem because we have all of the dependencies installed, and now we'll be proceeding on towards writing the code of the TensorFlow project. But for now, this is a command line instance where you can type any particular command to the particular cloud instance, and then the command will be executed on the cloud machine. Okay, so over here I've got one last thing to show you, which is that over here if you go to the home page, and over here you can see the compute engine graph. So we can have the CPU usage and also the API requests per second. So this is something where you can monitor your progress or how your compute engine is performing, and anytime if you want to go back to your compute engine, click on compute engine over here and click on the down arrow next to SSH and click on open in browser window. But currently we have it opened over here. So now let's proceed on towards the next task of writing the code of the TensorFlow project. And if you have any doubts up till now, feel free to let me know in the question and answer section of this course, and I'll be more than happy to help you out with it.